you said that Ben Shapiro was just center-right. Like, you just basically downplayed all their ideas and everything that they represent as just being to the right of center. Like, you don't think that's a little bit stupid?
I think that the heart of the Republican Party, policy-wise, is probably somewhere between, like, Ben Shapiro and the rest of the Daily Wire. So I don't think Ben Shapiro was like an anti-vaxxer, but he'll be against vax mandates. I don't think Ben Shapiro thinks that the election was stolen, but he'll say that we should have more election integrity. I don't think Ben Shapiro's like a hardcore isolationist, but he should say like, well, maybe we shouldn't be meddling in Ukraine as much. Like that's for like most of Ben Shapiro's positions. They're probably going to center around like between him and the rest of the Daily Wire. Probably going to center around like on average where like conservatives are, or a little to the left of most conservatives. That's my guess.
I'm pretty sure that like he's gone more mask off with stuff like being against gay marriage, at least with one of his recent tweets.
He's religious.
Well, yeah, but that goes against what I'm saying it's more mask off compared to before, where to like you would say,
was he pro gay marriage in the past?
Yeah, I almost distinctly remember in the past that he was in an interview he's saying like, listen, I don't think the government should interfere whatsoever. If you want to marry whoever you want to marry, you can.
Well, but that would be consistent with somebody saying that like the government shouldn't legalize gay marriage. They should just stay out of it. That's like always the...
No, I think there's a difference between him saying that like the government shouldn't... him not being opposed to gay marriage. I think there's a difference between those two things, but okay. I mean, also, like, the Daily Wire has Candace Owens on it as well, not just Ben Shapiro. Like, Candace Owens, what is it? Matt Walsh, I think, is on it now. And that guy literally was a former fucking race realist, I think. Also, he was...
Matt Walsh is a race realist?
Yeah, you're a former race realist and a former pro-Confederate
Well, you
person.
can't be a former race realist. You were a former race realist. You can't formerly be a former race realist. Once you were a race realist, you always were a race realist. So I don't know what that means.
Okay.
When was he what did he say that made him a race realist?
Hold on. I have the link right here. I'm glad I bookmarked all this. In 2010 to 2011, hosted a radio show called the Matt and Crank program, where he was offered much more freedom than his current show on the Daily Wire. On this program, he made statements and clips where he said that Abraham Lincoln believed so much in states' rights that he sent hundreds of thousands of federal troops into sovereign states and just started killing everyone. And in that mock campaign ad for the RNC, he criticized Lincoln for fighting to keep the United States together as a coherent whole after the Confederate States seceded over the rights to keep black people as property. Like, and then there's also race realism.
Hold on, wait. What part of that was
statements.
race realism?
Okay, I can just link you the thread and you can read it yourself.
Well, no, I'm just curious. You know, I'm not reading it. I'm just curious. What part did he believe that? Race realism means that black people are f***ed because of genetics. That's what race realism means.
Yeah, okay, I'll read the comment on that. It's because we're all dying off. Yes, that's what the problem is. It's not that... I'm quoting him. That's what the problem is. It's not that we're just, as the Mexicans coming in, we magically meld them and become like them. It's not like that. It's that we are dying off just like any other species of animal does. We're dying. And the way that animals... There's Western white race is not having kids. They're just not. That's why 10 years before, those average family was like 2.3 kids. Now it's 1 point something. I mean, we've lost a whole kid in 10 years. And I mean, you can't just survive when you refuse to have kids.
That just sounds like a factually true... What is incorrect about that? The white people are probably...
Okay. They, being that they're a different culture, a different race and everything else, they bring with them an identity, and they bring it to America. And so as the Anglo-Saxons, which were the Aboriginal Americans, die off, our identity and our culture goes with it.
Okay. If he is a race realist, what you just described is called mask-on race realism. Mask off with him would be him saying that, like, these people are a different race or ethnicity, they'll never be the same as us.
Okay. Even if at best it was mask-on race realism, that's still way more than just center-right.
Well, no. First of all, I don't know if that position is more than center-right. I'm pretty sure, like... If you were to poll the average Republican person right now, I don't know how keen they would be about like big Mexican immigration. Most Republicans, I think, supported Trump's Muslim ban. It's probably around like the average conservative belief, would be my guess.
Well, hold on. When you say most Republicans support the Muslim ban, you're referring to like the far right in America, not the center right.
The far right. Trump had the majority of the Republican Party. He had massively high approval ratings in the Republican Party. They were like untouchable. So
there's a lot of far-right extremism in the country today, but that's not the same as like center.
If you can't say that most of the conservative party is far-right, that would mean that it's probably not far-right anymore. That would be considered like the new right. That's like the moderate right position in the United States.
No, because relative to like Democrats and moderates, it's still extreme, right? I'm looking at the whole political spectrum.
Okay, if you want to use the words like that, that's fine. I don't care. But we're just fighting
no,
over semantics.
because
We're not even having like a real
it's
conversation. Okay. No, it's not important.
that-
It's important because you want the normative loading of it. That's why it's important to you. But if you wanted the normative loading, that's fine. Far right equals bad, and the average Republican is bad. Yes. Okay. I'll give you that.
No, because when you frame it as just center right, you are downplaying the idea. You are downplaying the severity of the
when
idea.
you frame it as far right, you're downplaying how widespread it is in society, and you're making it sound fucking crazy. And that's the problem with progressives all the time. You go, that's far right. That's right. That's not fucking far right. It's the average Republican. The average Republican right now doesn't trust vaccines and doesn't think the election was real. For you to write it off as just far right.
The average Republican is crazy.
Okay, but they're not. The average human being is not crazy. If they all think something, there's a reason why, and you've got to address that. You can't just write them off as far right crazy. You got to figure out why the fuck they believe that thing. This is why I
never said that the average human being is crazy. I'm saying that the average Republican has gone crazy.
Okay, the average
Republicans
Republicans make up
and we
half,
can't just downplay it or say, oh, you know, they can't help themselves. You know, we just gotta,
okay.
you know, empathize.
Yeah. How are progressives doing politically in the U.S. right now?
Didn't we like do pretty decently in the midterms?
No, they're pretty dog shit, and they always have been, and they always will be.
That's factually untrue. I don't know why.
Okay.
What are you trying to say?
Just what I said. There's a reason why progressives make no fucking gains in U.S. politics. It's because they're insanely unpopular. Nobody likes them. Nobody likes your rhetoric. Nobody likes your policies. They have no, like, great electoral gains to speak of.
Well, hold on. People don't like farther left policies like from Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren because like moderates like you keep casting them as extremists, and also you keep like
no, they don't like
over...
it because the policies just aren't that popular. Nobody likes them because people like you. You even gave the meme line earlier that I said plagues progressives everywhere. Where you said if I could just sit somebody down and explain it to them, they'd agree with me. Every fucking progressive believes that. All of you think that if you can just talk to somebody for 2 minutes, you can convince them for any crazy cockamamie idea that you have. It's just not true.
I don't think that's what it is. What it is that, hold on. I'm trying to look for the thing that I bookmarked. I think what it is that, like, these ideas are more popular than you let on. And I think David Pakman, he had a podcast interview with, Lex Friedman. And he talked about how, like, he thinks that a large reason why candidates like Bernie Sanders don't perform as well is because of, like, money talks, right? Like, you have PACs, super PACs. Really? You're just going to write it off and say that, like, the massive donations that Biden gets don't make any impact whatsoever?
Didn't Bernie have... No. We had 2 billionaires in the last election, and they got fucking crushed, okay?
Well...
And Bernie Sanders, didn't he outraise? Wasn't he the highest recipient of donors of any candidate?
Well, doesn't that kind of add to my point, though? That, like, he does that... His
no, he had the
ideas
money
are
and he
more
got
popular.
crushed.